Welcome back to my channel, YouTube viewers. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make buns. So what I'm going to need to make my buns today is some all-purpose flour, some granulated sugar, and you can use brown sugar if you'd like. I also have some maraschino cherries that I've chopped in half, some ground nutmeg, and a little pinch of salt. I also have some baking powder, some unsalted butter that I've cut into cubes, and I have my freshly grated coconut. And I did post a video a while back on how to open the coconuts and grate them yourselves. And I also have some whole milk and some vanilla extract to go ahead and mix into my dough. So let's get cooking, guys. The first step in making buns is to go ahead and mix the dough. So in my bowl here, I have all of my all-purpose flour, and I'm going to start adding in my ingredients to mix up my dough. I have my baking powder right here, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that in. I also have all of my spices, so I have my ground nutmeg and my salt, and the salt is going to bring out the sweetness in the buns, and it's just going to balance out all of the flavors. I also have my unsalted butter that I'm going to add in right here, and this is going to make my buns nice and flaky and soft. So I just want to get that out of the bowl, and then I'm going to begin mixing that in. You want to incorporate the butter just like you're making like a pie dough or a short crust. You want to make sure that you're mixing in the butter evenly, and you want to keep mixing until the whole dough resembles fine breadcrumbs. This mixture should be very crumbly and sandy when you're done mixing in your butter. And you can go ahead and use cold butter, or you could use softened butter. It really doesn't make a difference in the dish, so you don't really have to worry about that. The dough for these buns is not very fussy, it's very forgiving. So I'm going to finish mixing in this butter, and I'm going to show you guys what the next step is. At this point, you could see that the mixture is very sandy and resembles coarse breadcrumbs. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my coconut. And a little word about your coconut. If you have a lot of coconut left over after you've grated it, you can go ahead and stick it in the freezer. I like to keep my coconut in the freezer because it's just easy access for when I need to make a dessert or any type of dish that requires coconut. So I'm just going to mix that in, and I'm going to incorporate it evenly throughout the dough. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my sugar. And the sugar is something that you'd have to gauge for yourself because a lot of people like the buns sweet, a lot of people don't like it too sweet. So I'm somewhere in the middle, so I added just enough for my taste. But if you like things very sweet, then I would add in a little bit more sugar. Once you've incorporated all of the sugar and the coconut into the mixture, it's time to go ahead and put in all of your liquids. So I'm going to start adding in my milk gradually, and I'm going to mix until a very, very soft dough forms. I'm also going to put the vanilla inside the middle of the milk so this way it can mix evenly into the dough. And you just want to keep mixing with a very light hand, and you want to keep mixing your milk in until it's all incorporated and a very sticky dough forms. The reason that I say that you should use a very light hand while mixing these buns is because if you knead the dough too much or over mix it, then your buns are going to be very hard and they're going to be tough in the end. If you mix it with a very light hand, as I'm doing, as you can see, I'm just using my fingertips. I'm not even using my whole hand. Then they're going to be nice and soft when they're done. So as you guys can see here, my dough is a little dry still, so I'm going to get some more milk and add on, and then I'm going to show you guys what that looks like while I'm mixing it in. So I added in a little more milk, and as you guys can see, the dough is very sticky and soft now. You do not want this dough to resemble bread dough or as if you were making roti. You want to make sure it's very soft and tacky against your fingers. At this point, it's time to go ahead and scoop out your buns onto your baking tray. So I have a non-stick baking tray here, and I'm not going to line it with anything, nor am I going to grease it, because it's a new non-stick tray, so I know nothing's going to stick on it. But if you had a regular stainless steel tray, then I would go ahead and line it with some parchment paper, or you could go ahead and butter the pan. I also have my cherries that I sliced in half here, and those are just going to be the garnish on top of my buns. So these are optional, but the traditional way of making buns is to go ahead and put a cherry on top. And you guys are going to notice as I'm dropping my buns onto the tray, I'm not using any type of ice cream scoop or spoons to put them on. I'm going to go ahead and use my hands. And the reason for this is because when you're making buns, they're not meant to be perfect. It's a really rustic type of dish. So I'm just dropping them in little handfuls onto my tray here. And if I had to put a measurement on this, it would be about 1/3 of a cup for each bun that I'm dropping onto the tray. So I'm just going to keep dropping some of them on, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a cherry on top of each of them. the finished buns, guys. After baking for exactly 20 minutes at 350 degrees, I went ahead and I pulled them out of the oven. Then I let them sit on the pan for about a minute, and then I went ahead and transferred them onto my plate. A really good indication for whether these buns are done is that nice golden brown crust that you're going to see on the top. You're also going to notice that the bottoms get nice and crispy, and then as soon as you open them up, they're going to be super soft and fluffy on the inside. So I'm breaking one open to show you guys what it looks like, and you're going to see that it's perfectly done. If it's dry and crumbly, then that means you overbaked them. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Also feel free to leave a comment down below on what you guys would like me to make next. Thanks for watching, guys.